In the heart of London, where fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye, a shadow was about to fall. A shadow that would exploit the very symbol of safety and order, turning trust into a weapon. This is the story of May 2nd, 1990, a day that began like any other but would end in infamy. The day a lone man held the city's financial heart hostage. The morning air on Threadneedle Street was thick with the usual hustle. Bankers hurried, couriers zipped through traffic, and the pulse of global finance beat steadily. Among them was a 58-year-old messenger, his satchel containing not just paper, but a staggering £292 million in bearer bonds. These were essentially blank checks, untraceable and as good as cash to anyone who held them. He was a man of routine, a small cog in a vast machine, completely unaware he was walking into a meticulously laid trap. As he turned onto a quiet side street, a figure stepped out from the shadows. The messenger saw a man in a police uniform. Or rather, what he believed was a police uniform. The figure was calm, authoritative. He spoke with the clipped, no-nonsense tone of an officer on duty, mentioning a supposed security alert in the area. A routine stop, he claimed. The messenger, conditioned to respect the uniform, complied without a second thought. Why would he question it? This was a guardian of the peace, a protector of the city. This is where the genius of the crime lay. The robber hadn't just donned a costume, he had absorbed the persona. He knew the protocols, the language, the subtle mannerisms that projected authority. He didn't brandish a weapon in a chaotic frenzy. Instead, he used the public's ingrained trust in law enforcement as his key. He calmly explained that due to the threat, the messenger's delivery needed a police escort. It was a lie, delivered with the chilling conviction of truth. The messenger was led to a nearby car, where the charade continued. Inside, another accomplice waited. The messenger, still believing he was in protective custody, was relieved of his satchel. It was done so smoothly, so professionally, that the gravity of the situation didn't register until it was far too late. The car door shut, the engine roared to life, and the vehicle disappeared into the labyrinthine streets of London. The messenger was left standing on the pavement, the world spinning around him, the £292 million fortune gone. When the news finally broke, it didn't just ripple through the financial district. It sent a seismic shockwave across the globe. The London Stock Exchange shuddered. How could a sum that vast, nearly the annual budget of a small country, simply vanish in broad daylight? The bearer bonds were a ghost in the system, untraceable. If they entered the global market, they could destabilize economies. Panic wasn't just a possibility, it was a certainty. Traders stared at their screens in disbelief. The intricate web of trust that underpins the entire financial world had been torn apart. The City of London police, the very institution the robber had impersonated, were thrown into a frantic race against time. Every bond had a serial number, and a global alert was issued. Every bank, every trading house, every financial institution from London to Tokyo was put on high alert. The financial world held its breath, waiting for the ghost bonds to surface. It was a manhunt not just for a man, but for hundreds of millions of pounds worth of paper that held the power to create chaos. Beyond the trading floors, a different kind of fear began to spread through the communities of London. The story dominated every newspaper, every news broadcast. A phantom policeman, a wolf in sheep's clothing, was loose on their streets. Suddenly, the comforting side of a bobby on the beat was tinged with suspicion. People looked over their shoulders. Who could you trust when the very symbol of security had been so masterfully corrupted? The crime didn't just steal money, it stole a collective sense of safety. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones, parents warned their children. The fabric of civic trust was fraying. The country was in turmoil. Questions were being asked in Parliament. How could security be so lax? How could one man with a convincing costume and a steady nerve bring the nation's financial centre to its knees? The robbery became a symbol of a deeper vulnerability. It exposed the fragile line between order and chaos, and how easily it could be crossed by someone who understood the systems designed to maintain it. The thief wasn't just a common criminal. He was a phantom who had exploited the psychology of the entire nation. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The investigation was one of the largest in British history. Informants were cultivated, leads were chased across continents. The pressure was immense. Slowly, painstakingly, the web began to tighten. A small-time crook trying to launder some of the bonds was arrested, and he started to talk. The trail led investigators across the Atlantic to a quiet suburban home in the United States. It was there they found their man, not a criminal mastermind living in a lavish lair, but a man hiding in plain sight. The suspected architect was a career criminal, a man who understood finance and, crucially, understood the power of a uniform. The subsequent investigation and trials were complex, a tangled story of betrayal and underworld dealings. Most of the bonds were eventually recovered, but not all. Some remain missing to this day, a multi-million-pound ghost still haunting the financial system. But the true legacy of the City Bonds robbery isn't about the money. It's a chilling lesson in human psychology. It revealed how our deepest instincts, to trust authority, to believe in the symbols of order, can be turned against us. The robber held a knife to the throat of the financial world, but his true weapon was the uniform he wore and the trust it commanded. He proved that the greatest heists aren't always about brute force, but about the subtle, terrifying art of deception. The event forced a complete overhaul of security procedures in the City of London. But the scar it left on the collective psyche remains. It serves as a stark reminder that the systems we build to protect ourselves are only as strong as the trust we place in them. And when that trust is betrayed, the fallout can shake a nation to its core, leaving behind a lingering question that haunts us still. Who can you really trust? Thank you for watching. If this story captivated you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the cases that shaped our world. Stay safe and stay vigilant.